So,
Can you enlighten us? Give us more spectrum on this other power thing. What's that about? This other power thing.
all right, so in everything, even in every other religion, because not just studying the spiritual stuff, I was studying other religions. In every other religion, they talk about duality. If people can go into a spirituality thinking everything goes, they're deceived because there are always two sides of the coin. There are spiritual things that people do that's connected to the world, right? And they get either a sense of relief only for a temporary time, or it's like something that they need and pull from and surround their lives in. But there's another source of spiritual which only comes from one spirit, and that's holy spirituality. That's the difference in between knowing the creator, knowing what he did in your life, and what the importance of his son is. And people would try to incorporate that religion, but with religion, but it's a complete separation because that's a way of living. It's not the straight basis of you got to get this done, this done, this done, because that's what every other religion would tell you. But actually, just following the spirit that God gives is like just
No.
living in truth
Okay.
and living in love.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is the darker side that you was talking about being, you know what I'm saying, these other spirits, you know what I'm saying, like you've experienced these other spirits.
All right,
I wanted to know because that's what I was reading when you were saying, you know what I'm saying, these other spirits. You know, because I knew you weren't talking about the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, so where it started to creep in was through the interaction with that female, and it kind of jacked up my head to the point where not only was I hearing my voice, and normally I would only talk to God, I was hearing other voices that swayed me. And this is where, okay, in seventh grade, near eighth grade, I was diagnosed with being schizophrenic, manic depressive type, which is hearing a whole lot of voices. But before I would get mad, before I would get sad, I would get mad and everything like that. And that happened to come in where there was a part of my mind where I thought that sexual perversion was cool and stuff like that. So it was a kind of shift in me where that was a part. And then all the fighting that was happening in school because of the pent up aggression of not seeing her only but on Sunday and stuff like that, or me getting bullied because I was overweight, had me fighting a lot, and that developed into a own person itself. And I'm gonna get into their names after I'm done describing like where they came from in my life. Then it was a side in me where I learned how to laugh at everything, even if stuff was going bad, just for a coping mechanism. And that's when one person came in, and then another person. After all was said and done, I couldn't really cope with certain things. I would either get by myself and like, you know what I'm saying, cut myself and think suicidal thoughts and stuff, and only attempted like about once with my own medication and stuff like that because I didn't even want to take it and stuff. So the first, which came from the church female I met, his name was Jazz. The second that has stuff to do with anger and fighting, his name was Pain. And the third that laughed over everything for a coping mechanism, his name was Timmy. And the last person's name was D for depression. And you can get the gist of that. The reason why
hold on. Slow that down and say that one more time of these names of these characters that these spiritual characters
that are attached to certain memories or certain traumas that I had to deal with and realize this. The spirit of the mind concept of a person being jazzed in my head is from inside a church, having like, now I'm saying, kissing and stuff like that outside of church. And then pain came from like a lack of attention, bullying, and all that being manifested through fighting and being like more so hands-on with any argument, not wanting to argue and not knowing how to talk to people. Timmy was from like, if I'm being transparent, I told you laughing at everything, even if stuff was bad, but that developed a little bit in me picking with my brother, because my older brother, like, we have a 5-year difference, so he was never hanging with me, always hanging with his friends, so I would try to pick with him for attention, and even if I was in pain and stuff, I would probably laugh and stuff like that. So that's a memory that's connected to that. And then with depression, that came from a lot of string of everything being put on top of each other, because that's what drives people to suicide thoughts. So that last person, which name was D, which stands for depression, it was like a last resort thing, like when everything got too heavy and everything like that. And if y'all watched a series called Chosen, Mary Magdalene had multiple things going on to the point where it hurted her head, and it was like I kind of felt like her. I felt like I had demons with me and everything like that, and these are like the darker spirits. They came from strands of, matter of fact, these concepts of my mind being so sporadic led me into having an intricate thought process into knowing, okay, if I knew about God, what further dark could there be? And it led me to crystals. It led me to all these things that now it seems like it's common spirituality, when it's darkness. It's actually like deceiving spirits, lying spirits, unclean spirits and everything like that, because not everything is just a demon. Demon possession is when you feel like demons are inside of you. But evil spirits can be stuff that you're, people that you have around you, energies within a place, things that you have on you. That's why shouting out the clothing brand, you know what I'm saying? Illumination wear, because the colors and the words that are on them, which is Hebrew and English, it puts off a spiritual projection to whoever sees it. Like the stuff that you look at, the stuff that you hear, the stuff that you eat, the stuff that you smell, and the stuff that you touch have spiritual like back. Like it comes from that first before we are even able to, So that's the size of the spirit that I had to dibble and dabble in. Like I watched other people do the tarot cards and all the other stuff in the Ouija boards. I never touched it because I knew the power of it, because first being raised in church, I knew better. Mm-hmm. But that was all the dark stuff. The necromancy and stuff, I actually like went into an old type of bookstore.
We're gonna have to get back to you on that one. This is true stories for God's glory. And what you just heard is just the beginning, y'all. J Moses, it's your boy. You already know, Ambassador Harmony, the Truth Spitter, aka Red Beard the Barber. And we're about to be out, but we're gonna come back and we're gonna get the rest of this story. We're gonna have others for you, but we're gonna get the rest of this story also. That was just the warm up.
Y'all stay blessed.